let's talk about trigonometry. Now, you can get a lot more detail than we're going to get in this class, but basically trigonometry describes three ratios with respect to an angle. So I'm going to set it up here where this angle is theta. And you'll notice we do have a right triangle here. So we've got our hypotenuse. The angle across from it we call the opposite. And then this other angle we call adjacent because it does connect to our theta angle. So the sine, which we write as sin, is the opposite over the hypotenuse. The cosine, which we write as cos, is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. And finally the tangent, which we write as tan, is the opposite over the adjacent. And if we're given a triangle, we can hopefully use that definition to get all three of these things. And do note, we will need to have these definitions memorized. So here, I've got a triangle, and let's see if we can find the sine, the cosine, and the tangent. So again, the sine is the opposite over the hypotenuse. So here, that's going to be 3 over 5. The cosine is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. So that's going to be 4 over 5. And finally, the tangent is the opposite over the adjacent. So that is going to be 3 over 4. As long as I know those definitions, I should be able to write that down pretty much as I go. Now, my next example, I've got a slightly different triangle. You'll notice I did also put the other angle that we'll be looking for. So I'm going to describe these a little differently, but I'll still use the same definition. So again, sine is the opposite. Well, this side is now opposite because it's across from the angle. And that is still my hypotenuse. So here, that's going to be 12 over 13. Cosine, again, it's the adjacent. This side is now the adjacent. And that's still the hypotenuse. So I'll get 5 over 13. And finally, I've got tangent, which is opposite over adjacent. So again, opposite over adjacent. That will give me 12 over 5. You'll notice that is an improper fraction, but that's okay. We're just going to leave it as is. So again, this is just the very basic definition of these three trigonometric functions and how to find them if I'm given a picture.